Hi, Peter Shilton. Thank you for coming and talking to Footy Matters. Can I ask you first, what brings you down here today?
Well, I'm involved in a World Cup promotion for Jigsaw Puzzle, which is by a company called Wasgidge. And the people who buy the puzzle will have an opportunity to enter a competition whereby they have an opportunity to win the prize, which is for me to watch the Uruguay match in the World Cup, England's probably most crucial game, in a place of their choice with them, and
Brilliant.
Obviously give my views and opinions on what's happening. I'll probably be more nervous than they will, but and obviously tonight is part of the promotion, which we're doing a quiz, and I'm hosting that tonight, which I'm really looking forward to.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to competing later on. So down to the football. Starting with Joe Hart. Joe Hart is England's undisputed England number one, but he's come under a lot of pressure recently, being dropped at Manchester City. What do you think of the benefits of being dropped by your club? I know you were rotated with Ray Clements for a long time under the England team. Do you see competition as important?
Well, I prefer him not to have been dropped. I prefer Joe to have stayed at the level he was at, which was a breath of fresh air to England when he first came in. It was like, we've got somebody confident, assured, safe, and we all felt great. Obviously, he hit that bad spell, and it was a spell, not just a few games, and ended up losing his place at Man City. It looks as though that's done him a bit of good. Whether he had this meteoric rise from Shrewsbury to Manchester City to England, maybe he had a reaction to that, I don't know, but I think hopefully he's over that. And if he can maintain the level he's at the moment and cut out the mistakes he was making, then he's obviously going to be England's number one for the World Cup.
Do you think competition is important for a goalkeeper especially? Do you think it is important to have a number two on the bench who's pushing you?
Yeah, I think it's always important to have somebody who's going to push you. I mean, I think Ben Foster's back now. He had quite a lot of injury problems this season, but I think he is a quality goalkeeper. He has played for England, and he looked quite comfortable when he played for England. And we've got Fraser Foster now, who's had a game.
Yeah.
But I think Ben Foster, and also having played under Roy Hodgson at West Brom, Roy Hodgson knows what he can do. He's obviously somebody in the sidelines now that could really push Joe Hart, and Joe needs that.
Okay, brilliant. You earned half of your England caps after the age of 35, I think, or roughly about that. What do you think Joe Hart can do to follow in your steps and be important to England for the next 10 years?
Play well. Be consistent. It's not so much about the great games you have, the great saves you make. It's about the mistakes you don't make.
Yeah.
And the fewer mistakes you make, and especially for England, because everything is so scrutinised, that's the most important thing. Be consistent. If you have a great game, then people say, yeah, what a great game. But if you're making mistakes one week and having a great game the next, it tends to the mistakes take precedence, and I think Joe Hart's realised that. Okay,
thanks. The FA is leading the review into all aspects of the national game in order to try and improve the national side. One of the biggest issues is homegrown players, and since you played in an era where almost all the teams were 100% homegrown, yet still didn't win a trophy and still didn't qualify for some tournaments, do you see this as the critical issue, or is it something else?
Well, listen, at the end of the day, we've got the best league in the world, in the Premier League and the Football League, and I think that obviously players from all over the world feel that it is the best league to play in. And consequently, we had a Capital One Cup final with not one English player involved.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's maybe good for the fans and good for entertainment, but it's going to restrict, the amount of opportunities that our younger players will get in, because you get to an age when you're developing in football, and you think really you need to be pushed into the first team. You need the opportunity to progress, to learn experience and that sort of thing. And I think a lot of players aren't getting that. They're kind of having to take a backward step. They may think, I need a chance now, and suddenly they take a backward step, and that's not good for their development. And but we have still got quite a few good young players coming through. Roy Hodgson has said that he hasn't got so many players to pick from, but obviously, he has still got a pool of players, and he seems quite happy with the youngsters coming through. So we'll have to wait and see.
Do you see that reflected in the current England side? Perhaps lack of competition players like Jagielka and Cahill and the centre backs, do you see them as good enough? Would they have been good enough to play as centre backs in past England squads?
We'll wait and see. I do think we've been given a few easy goals away to the opposition. I like the opposition to work for goals, and I think we've made errors of concentration, at the back. Maybe that's inexperience. I would like to see us a lot tighter at the back and make the opposition work more for their goals. And obviously, I think also we're looking at some of our senior players like Wayne Rooney, for example, to perform at, in the way we know he can do for England, especially in the World Cup, and we'll have to wait and see. These questions need to be answered really, and it's up to the players to prove that they can do it at the highest level. But when there's young players coming through, you've always got a chance. I mean, Jack Wilshere, Oxlade Chamberlain, players with great ability, still a lot to learn. We'll have to wait and see.